Good morning, everyone. I say good morning because it is dark and early on a Sunday when I'm shooting this video, and we just got like 3 to 6 inches, probably more to the 6-inch mark of blowing, drifting snow outside. So it really looked blizzard-like yesterday out the window. But several days before that, I did get out, and I got to Walmart. Got some essentials, you know, from the makeup section, and I just had the strangest experience there. I was looking around and I first came to the Neutrogena makeup section, and I was just glancing around, and then I thought, oh, are those foundation sticks? And they were kind of tucked in like a little random spot, all the shades, just kind of sitting there like between one little part of the display and another. Now, Walmart, when they get new products, typically they do go straight into the big stands that the brand have there, you know, the main displays. There's not a lot of like little specialty display space around like the way Walgreens might have. But I've never really seen stuff just stuck in there. Like there is no place for it. There's no price marked. There's no like actual labeled name for what this is. It was just stuck in there. Like I'm guessing whoever was in charge of it was like, oh, we got this new makeup. Let's just pop it in and wait for the new displays later, I guess. It was that way with foundation sticks and some blushes. Like all the blush shades just kind of like tucked into this little zone that should have been for like liquid foundations, but they were out. And I was noticing this in multiple parts of the makeup section because I'm like, I wonder how many other brands this is happening with because there is currently so much new makeup coming out. So gang, I discovered so much new. It was like once you pop, you can't stop. I mean, I was just like, I found so many things. I think there were a few of these things that were legitimately like the display mirrored what the product was and it all made sense. But a lot of this stuff really felt like being on a treasure hunt, and just tucked in the side there were some new products, and I hadn't seen them in any other stores, and I haven't heard a lot about them yet online, so I feel like I'm really on the cutting edge here. Now, most of this stuff I have played around with in these past few days, but a few things I haven't, and I'll point that out as I go. Let me go ahead and get it laid out here on my desk. From Neutrogena, I've got 2 different kind of base products new that I found. One is called Protect and Tint, and it's a tinted moisturizer with SPF 30, and I got it in the shade, which is an odd shade name, an odd classification, light to tan. But I thought if it's a sheer product, I bet that shade will work. Well, I was wearing this yesterday and I felt like it was very yellowy and just very off. It didn't really sheer out quite as much as I would expect a product of this kind to do, which means it might have some promise. It might be a coverage level I could enjoy, but I think I need a lighter shade. So I'm going to set that aside. And what I'm going to use as a base product today is this Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Foundation Stick. They also did have some new primers, by the way, in Neutrogena's line, but I'm just really kind of at a max for primers right now. You saw my collection recently, so I didn't pick any of those up just yet, but I was really intrigued by the stick because I overall enjoy the Hydro Boost line. I like their stick concealer. I was a fan of the foundation. By the way, are you liking just the sprucing happening here? It's okay, right? Can we just be fine with that? Thank you. What they really tout with this line is the products contain hyaluronic acid. They even have a really good like mascara in the Hydro Boost line. So I got this in Natural Ivory, and we're gonna pop it on. I wanna check the amount here real quick though. It says 0.29 ounces. This is how much if you twist up this stick. I couldn't remember what the average like foundation stick amount was. A lot of foundation sticks seem to be at 0.32 ounces, so that's what the L'Oreal Infallible one is, but this is 0.29. The least amount I own is probably the Revolution one at 0.21, so this is just a little bit more than the Revolution. But we are going to just streak this around. I do like the way it kind of goes across the skin because it doesn't seem super greasy, but you can tell there's moisture there. And I blended it in with the brush the other day, which worked okay. I want to try it with the Beauty Blender. I got some circles this morning, man. I feel like we're achieving kind of a velvety almost matte appearance on the skin with this product, and it is buildable. It's something I can add a little bit more and still have a somewhat natural look on the skin. All in all, I would say medium coverage. To touch the skin, you just feel soft. It doesn't feel the least bit sticky or dewy. You know, that Christopher Buckle stick I love so much, but that one is gonna leave you just a little more like a really clearly hydrated feeling after you put it on. This is just kind of nice and a smooth, soft matte look. I'm gonna try adding a bit more here. It's kind of similar to the finished look and just finish on the skin that I get from the L'Oreal Infallible stick. So that's what we're working with, guys. We know it has the hydrating ingredients and the hyaluronic acid, but don't be fooled in terms of the finish you expect to get. I was expecting something more dewy, tacky, and it is kind of this soft matte feel. Now, a concealer that I found, also just sort of randomly tucked into the display, not really labeled, is this Stay Matte Concealer from Rimmel, and it says soft matte concealer, full coverage. It says this longwear formula conceals and hides dark circles and imperfections whilst controlling shine for up to 24 hours. I really like they use the word whilst. But this is one of the new to me products right now. I have not put this on before, so let's see how it goes. This appeared to be the lightest shade available, and I'm getting a really yellowy vibe from it. In the past with concealers I've tried from Rimmel, they've been a little like almost grayish looking on me, so this is a step in a different direction, it feels like. And I don't know that the Stay Matte line has ever released a concealer, so let's just try with the Beauty Blender here. I should have dampened my mini Beauty Blenders this morning. I've been using those, I think they're the Swispers ones. Remember how into those I was for a time? I'm getting back in. I mean, I'm getting coverage. It does look matte, but is it gonna look dry matte? I did stop for a second when I saw this concealer on the market and thought, Stay Matte. For under eyes, do I really want that happening? I'm gonna do a little around my nose too. I can really see some lines and then some texture right in here that, frankly, I didn't really know I had. And yet this isn't one of those shades that can fully tackle the darkness. And I wouldn't necessarily expect it to, but there are some doe foot applicator skin tone concealers that are still just full coverage enough to where you could sometimes sidestep the corrector, but this is not really one of those tones or one of those situations. And since this is the only concealer I got to work with right now, let's have a don't try this at home moment, but just for the purposes of getting through this video, I'm gonna add a little more of this. And I'm gonna try a brush. Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush, report to the makeup area. Okay, here we are. All right, just dab it in. I can live with that coverage level. I just don't think I'm gonna like the dryness level. All right, it's a Monet kind of look today from a distance. We're all looking fine and even. Don't look up too close because you may see more lines and texture than you wanted to. But we're gonna move forward and do some bronzer because I have a new bronzer here from Maybelline. It's called the City Bronzer. Maybelline, I'll be waiting for the country bronzer, okay? This is the shade 300. I'm looking for an actual name, but I know that from looking at the display, there were 3 tones of this, which was nice, and this was the deepest. And it's kind of like a golden tan type matte bronzer. I can make it work, but I don't love this tone on my skin because I've really realized after using this great bronzer from that Doll 10 line that's very rooted in a reddish tone, I've learned how natural that actually looks on my skin and how much that tone really mimics the way my skin looks when I get sun. And this looks a little more artificial. But for your viewing pleasure, I'm gonna put it on. So it's just a little like yellowy, old gold yellow look to it. I don't know. So we got that on. I tried not to make it look too outrageous, but I think you can probably see the way that kind of tone looks on my skin and why it's not really my favorite. For blush, we got options, y'all. Let's see here. We've got a blush that I really am liking from Neutrogena. It's called Cheeky Wink, and it says Flushed Blush. This color is called Boysenberry. And I got this because it reminded me, just like packaging-wise, shape, the look of the product in the pan reminded me so much of one of those Clinique Cheek Pop blushes. And the shade is kind of like a, I don't know, a gentle flush on the skin. It's not quite this dark. So I do sort of want to apply that first because that's kind of hard to wrap your head around. And then Rimmel has these Maxi blushes that I got in 2 shades. They seem to be matte. So far I've only worn Rendezvous, but then they have Wild Card, which seems like a deep coral. So let's try to explain what's going on here with this. Get my brush in there. This is my e.l.f. blush brush, by the way. So I definitely did coat the brush, but see how it's a gentle, like, if that sheared out to be a stain on the cheeks, you know what I'm saying? And I like the way the color turns out, but it might be a little unfortunate for someone with a really deep skin tone who is really wanting a lot of what that color could appear to offer, that plummy blush. So just be advised on that. It's more sheer. But for me personally, I kind of like the way it turns out to look on my skin. If I go out in the snow later and then I come inside, this is kind of what my skin's gonna look like. So there we go, that's Boysenberry. I noticed one other shade in the lineup there, and it was more of a light peachy color. But again, that's Neutrogena, and that's Cheeky Wink, and we're still not done with the new Neutrogena. I've got more coming, but I'm thinking I might layer up, let's layer up just a little bit of this Maxi blush. This color here, this kind of coral. Okay, it seems to be kind of a little goes a long way type color there, because I really tried to be light, and I definitely picked up some color. I want to say there were probably 4 shades in this available. I feel like I almost want to go over those cheeks with a little just regular powder, but here's a swatch of this other blush shade. It's kind of like this Neutrogena is the sheer berry blush, and then this Rimmel is the rich berry if you want full-on color with a plummy type berry blush. What I'm going to actually do is just take a little bit of Milani Conceal and Perfect powder, since I feel like I went a little strong with the, you know, double blush today. I'm just going to take this over top. I do not have a new highlight in this roundup, so I'm just going to go old school here and use this one from Physicians Formula. This is the Shimmer Strips in Riviera Strip. I know, coming out of left field with that, that was like, you know, some of the first highlights to come to the drugstore, I feel like, were Physicians Formula Shimmer Strips. And I just used the top bit of this, right, because the bottom is a little more bronzy. I've always liked shimmer strips though. I like how you could kind of use them like eyeshadows, or you could have that glowy bronze. Here's something I found in the L'Oreal section, and it's called Shake and Glow Dew Mist, and this was supposed to be there. It had its own special place. It says you can prime and hydrate, set, or refresh with this, so pretty much what every spray claims to do. Shake well to activate glow, hold at least 6 inches away. Okay. And I really like the scent on this stuff. I don't know what it is. It's, gosh, maybe a hint of floral, but there's something else in there. Oh, it's like so soft. It's not too much, but it's so dang pleasant. I wish I could tell you what exactly that smell is. It's not like rosy, it's fresh. Now, how glowy do I look? The mist was fine. I didn't feel any like strong, splashy kind of particles landing on me. It smells so good, I could spray that all day. To touch my skin, it definitely feels tacky, like kind of dewy actually. I think the cheeks might look like they've got even more glow despite the fact like I did put on highlight. Like I think they caught some of that mist. It's kind of in the middle of the pack in terms of ingredient listing, but there is coconut oil in this. But listed before that, it also says coconut fruit juice. I think I'm going to be using that quite a bit. Now for brows, I will be using drugstore, but it's not really anything new. I didn't pick anything up during this little haul. It's the Brow Stylist Definer in Dark Brunette. So this is the skinny pencil that L'Oreal is making. I have it in my stash, so I'm trying to use it. And it's nice. It's a really good color for me. And I think it's a situation where I had a little different shade from this line maybe before that I was using, and now I found this and I'm like, okay, I'll use this one. And this is probably the most appropriate shade for me. And then you've got your little spoolie, of course, so you can just brush that on through. So I don't have a sled, but I'm thinking I could take one of our pool floaty things, like we have this giant ice cream cone shaped pool floaty, and maybe we could sled down the hill behind our house with that. Like, it's gonna be really bitterly cold though today, and I don't know if I even feel comfortable taking the girls out in that. Maybe I should just do it myself. I think the weather in my area definitely turned out to be worse yesterday than what it was forecast, because they just had us under a winter weather advisory. And I mean, I haven't seen blizzard-like conditions like what we had yesterday. I mean, it was winds kicking up to like 40 plus miles per hour. You could hardly see across the street, you know. Just imagine what that would be like in a more wide open country type setting with the drifting, and the snow was coming down hard and fast. And then all of a sudden, like, the weather radio's going off like, we were under a winter storm warning. Somebody in the National Weather Service office was like, oh shoot, it's getting bad there. As I was decluttering, I found this Brow Power pomade from IT Cosmetics, and this is just a clear gel, and it holds really, really well. So I'm gonna pop that on here. Really holds down some unruly hairs too that I have that want to stick up. Next up, I want to tell you what our eyeshadow options are today. Rimmel is kicking out the new palettes. One that I was playing with yesterday is called the Magnif'eyes Thunderstorm edition. What's this about? It's got like the yellow pop, some navy, some green. I played with it yesterday. The yellow really like came to party. It is vivid, and I used some of the blues, which were okay. The greens I haven't tried yet. Some of those softer neutrals in there were fine to work with. This lighter shimmer was kind of like just okay, but I don't know if it's just the fact that this color scheme isn't really resonating with me, but is this playing off of, didn't Kylie have a stormy palette, or am I making this up? I don't know. I don't absolutely love this color scheme, but I did get it because I was just curious. I wanted to try. And then they have the Magnif'eyes Wow edition. Let's just open it up. Everything in here is shimmery, just so you know. We have different tones. We've got some mid-tones and lighter colors, deeper colors, but everything does have shimmer. So there's a look at that. I have not played with that one yet. Also have not played with this rainbow edition. Check this out. I think I want to play with this today. Going back to some Bare Minerals Prime Time eyeshadow primer. Just heard a car driving down our street. I think there's been one go by this entire weather event. Where to begin? I think for the crease, I'm going to go to this little bit peachy color here. Just see how it goes. This is a true, like, I haven't even gotten my fingers in this and swatched it. I'm just putting it on the eyes. And frankly, this is a real favorite way I like to go into a palette, is just like, how does it actually apply with no preconceived notions? It's kind of fun. That shade built up quite nicely. I could see it being like lighter and more chalky pastel on the eyes, but that's really delivering some color. I'm gonna do some green. And we're gonna kind of focus that right in here. It's not quite as full on as you would expect from the palette. Like, that palette is neon. It's a little soft, but I don't hate it. I'm feeling very citrusy right now. I'm just gonna keep building on that because it is responding to it. Also, nothing is super glittery in this palette. Like, we have some clear mattes and we have some satins, but nothing is like a real chunky shimmer. Got that there. Built up about as far as it can go. Maybe we'll play with more of the purples on the lower lash line, and I'll try some of this green now, because that kind of makes sense alongside the more lime color. Let's see here. This looks like a pretty shade. Kind of like when you get a greenish turquoise, that's what that makes me think of. If you're at home thinking, why is she so intrigued by these Rimmel palettes? Well, brands that can be kind of hit and miss tend to really intrigue me because they had a huge hit, I felt like, with their Spice Edition palette. That's a lot like Urban Decay's Naked Heat, and frankly, I think it's even better. And I loved that so much. And the Crimson edition that they made really worked out for me too. And then there have been some here and there that have just been a little bit, you know, maybe just not my perfect color scheme, or just not knocking my socks off for one reason or another, inconsistent texture maybe here and there. But they kind of got me hooked with all these 12 color palettes they're putting out. And so they've got me wanting to see what's coming next. So that green was definitely buildable. Now I'm gonna go back with more of this color, now that I know what I'm doing here, and I'm gonna build that up even more. The theme is buildable here, my friends. And then maybe also around that inner corner we can take some of this. Oh, that gives a nice little splash there. What else can we do here? We can bump up the outer corner maybe with a little bit of this. I'm kind of intrigued by this matte blue right here. Are you guys proud of me? I am going for the statement shades in this palette. Taste the rainbow, right? We had a blizzard outside. I ain't going nowhere. Is anybody else watching season 3 of True Detective? I loved season 1 of that series when Matthew McConaughey was in it. I thought it was fantastic. Couldn't really get into season 2, but I am really digging season 3. Mahershala Ali, he's great. Dang, I feel so bright. So the blue was kind of nice. I mean, I felt like it did pretty much what I expected. I mean, could have been maybe a little brighter, but in the capacity I was applying it with a sort of a crease type brush, It did about what you'd think it would do. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this pinky shade with my wispy white brush and let that kind of emerge from the look. There was a time when you would not see like a full color rainbow palette in the drugstore though. So I support this. I support that they're going there and trying. Now as that blue and this pink mix a little bit, it's practically looking a little purpley. And then lower lash line, I really want to see some of these purples. So we're gonna try the lilac color first. This might be a shade where you wanna pop it right on top of a coordinating or at least just a light base. This is kind of a hard area to build, not quite like the lid. There's just not a lot of room to play. Let's go into this purple here. Okay, I'll take that for a decent little plum. Maybe we go to the one on the end. That looks like it incorporates a little more blue, a bluish purple. I haven't done a look this colorful in a long time. Tell you what, I'm gonna do a little light liner in the lower inner rim here. This is the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlighter, just because I feel like I can use that wakefulness right now. Next product is kind of a what's old is new again, because I noticed Almay has Get Up and Grow, and I didn't think that was something they were making anymore, but look at the packaging. It clearly says Get Up and Grow. That brush looks like the brush I remember, and this was a big time favorite of mine, but now I'm kind of wondering, the sticker on the outside says Extreme Length Mascara. Oh, it says Extreme Length on the back. I wonder what happens if we take off this sticker. Maybe nothing. Just want to know, why is there even a sticker, right? Gosh, I don't like to deconstruct the packaging, but you know, I just been watching too much True Detective. I gotta investigate what's under the label on my mascara. Okay, nothing. They just felt like having a sticker label, I guess. All right, it's sticking back down neatly. No problems. Just wondering. That is odd though. It says Get Up and Grow on the packaging. They're trying to reel in those of us who loved Get Up and Grow in the past. But now they're calling it Extreme Length. Okay, Almay. So yeah, I've really been trying to give my lash line a break from all things like liner and lash glue lately because it had just been sensitive 2 different times. I really had some sensitivity, so it's taken a break. Wow, that looks like classic Get Up and Grow brush, which is actually very similar. Talk about what's old is new again. I mean, the Get Up and Grow brush is a lot like Too Faced Better Than Sex or Lash Paradise too. It's got that very subtle hourglass type shape. Oh, and that kind of dryish formula. Oh, the length. Yes, like look at that. Look what that's doing for me real quick. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad this is back, because that's great. I get a better result when I give squeezes. Like, see how I'm kind of pulsing the lash curler? Yoink, 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 yoink. I come away with more of a curl and more of a lasting curl when I do that. This is one of those long-term like favorites for at least several years kinds of mascaras. Highly recommended, probably back when I was in the bright pink makeup room in the other house. So cool. But I would not have probably even reached for this if it didn't say Get Up and Grow on the outer packaging. So I wonder if there's something like with that name, like they can't go back and officially call it that, because it doesn't say that on the tube, but they were just trying to attract old fans. And Almay, while you're at it, if anybody's listening, bring back the One Coat Nourishing Triple Effect. That was amazing. I'm just adding a little more here, like this stuff can build on itself. Really fantastic. And something that's so special about it, the brush is so not overloaded. So you really see all the lashes. They're not sticking together at all. I think I'll stop there, but that's so cool to me. Lastly here for lip products, I found these from Neutrogena. They're called Sheer Smooch Lip Oil. I have Steal a Kiss and Wink and Wave, and I knew I needed to pick these up because I've had such success with so many Neutrogena lip products, from the Moisture Smooth Color Sticks to their tinted lip balms. They've got some good, I think from the Hydro Boost line, lip glosses. So I'm gonna try both of these on for you. One of them is a little more sheer than the other, but you can still see an effect. And so lip oil, my initial reaction when I put it on is like, ew, I don't know about that. But then with a little wear time, the greasy vibe dies down a bit. But this one is so sheer. Like my natural lip color, just a hint hint more berry, perhaps, but really, really natural. This one I thought was really pretty. I think it shows up with a little more color. Like, gives my lips just this natural rosiness. But see that how the red just offered a little bit more? Like, it bumped my lips up just a little bit in terms of rosiness. And yeah, as soon as you put it on, you're like, yeah, it's kind of greasy. It wears a little bit and you feel just kind of nicely moisturized. I think the color may even be developing a little bit as it sits there on the lips. Does that not look a little more reddish than it did just a few seconds ago? It's not at all sticky, but it is very, very hydrating. Let's take the hair down for full effect. But yeah, let's just review here for a second. So much new. The Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Foundation Stick. Definitely something I'm going to continue to work with. It was kind of fascinating to me how it did feel smooth and kind of hydrating and very easily blendable. I liked the way it went across the skin, but it wasn't super tacky and it was kind of matte, and that just wasn't really what I was expecting. And wearing this the other day, my wear time was actually pretty good. Maybe it's just the dryness in the air, I don't know, but my skin just stayed looking really fresh and wasn't really fighting against this product and breaking it down. The Stay Matte Concealer I feel like is really speaking to oily skin types. I don't know a lot of people who are super oily like underneath their eyes, but I felt like it had a really dry look there, and maybe spot concealing redness and other areas it might be good because it does have that really yellowish tone. And I kind of suspected this going in. Something called Stay Matte is probably not going to be my ideal under eye concealer, but who knows if it's the next drugstore Shape Tape, right? You gotta try. This City Bronzer, definitely a no, like not my favorite tone there. I like this Cheeky Wink, this shade from Neutrogena that's very rich and berry colored, but gives you that kind of sheer veil of color across the skin. I like that. I think these Maxi blushes are definitely full color. If you're wanting something more vivid, you might look to those. This mist, the scent on that was so pleasant, and I mentioned how right after applying it, my skin felt a little dewy. I feel like that truly did provide an added kind of surge of moisture over top of everything. Now, eyeshadow palette wise, I just can't help myself. I mean, $6, $7 at Walmart, I gotta try them. Haven't used the Wow edition yet, but the Thunderstorm was kind of meh for me, but you know if these colors are speaking to you or not. But the Rainbow edition, I think it's just a matter of, are you willing to build the shades up? And one look does not do a palette like this justice by any means. There are so many different directions you could go. I still really want to see that lilac like all over the lids, very full on. But there's a lot of options, and just as far as those greens go, you know, I was able to build them up, but you just had to spend a little extra time. And you could definitely reach another level if you put a light base color underneath all that. I would still say that Spice Edition is Rimmel's best work so far, but this one is fun and I'm not done with it yet. Sheer Smooch from Neutrogena is kind of a, you know, it's all right, it's good, it does feel nice and moisturizing, but it's not my favorite formula they make in a lip product. But Almay Get Up and Grow coming back as extreme length mascara, that's really exciting to me. That's a great mascara. I love the length. It's a rarity when you get to see something come back like that. I think Maybelline did that with Illegal Lengths, didn't they? That had been like an old school mascara that they made. It went away, it came back. It's exciting to see things come back. So that's all for today, friends. Thank you so much for watching. Should I snap on a pair of magnetic lashes? Because I was gonna practice with them anyway. I'm still perfecting my technique and my tricks with them, but I think I'll do that. I'll pop some on and I'll come back. I feel like I got a pretty good application with these Ardell 110s, and there are 4 magnets on that strip left to right, and I actually trimmed one off, so it fit my eye a little better, or at least more easily. I think still with the extra section it could have fit my eye, but it's harder to manage it. Just know I'm still working. I really want to make magnetic lashes work. I'm going to be trying a lot of different brands and the magnetic liner, which may just be the game changer in all of this going forward. Waiting for it to come in. I don't have it yet. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.